Um, well, my name's Bradley Fortuin. I'm 27 years old. I had to think again my age. 27 years old. Originally, I was born in Windhoek, Namibia, but then I moved to Botswana at the end of 2001. Yeah, so I'm Botswana now by paper. Coming here, I stayed with my uncles. Although my sister and my younger brother, they stayed in Hansi.
When did you discover you were gay?
Well, I've known, and as cliche as it sounds, I've known from a very early age. I probably didn't know that it was gay, but I knew that one, I was not attracted to girls. I did not want to play with the other boys. It was just, I was the, the different one. My pink feathers were already popping from a very young age. I told you earlier, during Christmas, they'd buy us gifts, me and my younger sister. So I'd get like a toy car, and then she'd get a doll. I'm like, well, I want a doll. So it was like, no, I don't want a car. So we'd like always trade, and then she'd play with the car, I'd play with the doll. At times she'd want the doll back, and I'm like, no. And I'd braid it, change its dresses. It was really really fun. But yeah, I've known, and then I think the first time I heard the word gay, I think that was I was doing grade five. I was doing grade five. I don't know what happened though. Yeah, I don't know what happened. And then I remember I went to go visit my grandmother, and then they went to church one Sunday. So at church they had like the little prayer request where you write your prayers and then give it to the pastor. They put it in a big box, and then the pastor will pray for it. So I think I wrote, "Dear God, please make me normal. I don't want to be gay." So me and my cousin were like, "Oh, so what did you write?" And then she showed me hers, I showed her mine, and she's like, "Oh, you're gay. I didn't know that. It's not a bad thing." She was in high school by then. But I think at some point it was just like, okay, let me just pray, because see if I want to be normal, you know. I mean, as much as I was really comfortable from a young age in my own skin, there were those moments where it was all, what if what they say is true? What if I'm gonna die and go to hell, or God does not like gays, God does not create gays. I mean, yeah. So I've had my fair share of praying the gay away, fasting and praying. That didn't work out. Until one day, actually here in Botswana, my cousin had a T-shirt which was written, "God don't make no junk." And then that was one of the aha moments. And I was like, you know what? God does not make no junk. That is true, actually. And I'm created in the image of God. I think by then I was doing grade six, and so it was like, also once again it was like you're comfortable in your own skin, and then you have those moments where you go like 5 steps back, and then you come back, make like progressive steps. So it was like a back and forth thing. So ever since then, I've always, God don't make no junk, and that still sticks with me right now. It was like a cute little colorful T-shirt, and he was only five. It was like a 5-year old wearing that T-shirt. And then yeah, as time went on, I began getting comfortable in my own skin. But I remember coming here though when I was doing grade six. It was a new environment, different people, new language, different culture. You didn't know what to expect, how to behave, and it was all boys doing this, girls doing this.
What about the larger society? Have you ever felt intimidated or fearful?
At times, I still do. Because you never know how people are going to react. There are people that you find, and you tell them about your sexuality, and they're like, it's fine, it's not even an issue. And there are those that, okay, I'm gay, and they're like, well, say what? Some are like, don't even talk to me again. Some say, oh, you're possessed by a gay demon. Everything has a demon these days. So you need to pray the gay away. You need to come to church. So you get like different reactions. I think for me personally, I was very fortunate that most of those reactions were good and not bad. Because I meet people during like on sometimes on a daily basis at work. They tell you their story and they get kicked out by their families. Some get beaten up. Some get harassed at schools. And I can't count myself pretty lucky, you know.
Okay, well, then that leads me to the question. I'd like you to explain where you work and what kind of organization it is, and a little bit about how you started working there.
Okay. I work for the lesbians, gays, and bisexuals of Botswana, La Habibo. That's how it's commonly known here. I'm the communications officer there. I've been there since, well, in that post since January. Prior to then, I was a volunteer. I think I volunteered for 2 years. And then Ula Habibo really is a local NGO which advocates for the rights of lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgender, and intersex persons in Botswana. We recently had to have a slogan, and it's protect, defend, and promote. So that's our current slogan now, and we are working with the LGBTI community, bridging the gap, between the government, the LGBTI community. Mostly it's in relation to access to health services, because there's a lot of reports that we get from the LGBTI community there, that they would go to health facilities, and it wouldn't be pretty. There's a lot of stigma, discrimination from the police if they go report domestic violence. Some of them live with their partners. If they go and report it, they're usually not treated fairly. Most of them are just dismissed, and some of these service providers bring their own personal views into cases as well. So we are really trying to advocate for their rights. We create awareness as well. We do a lot of public awareness with the media. We got talk to journalists, go do radio interviews, print media, and literally just letting Botswana know about the LGBTI community. And what we've discovered as well, a lot of them don't know. And to some point, that's where the stigma comes from as well, fear of the unknown. A lot of them don't know what gay is or what transgender is. And there's this whole perception that all of them have. And so yeah, so part of our public awareness is going to service providers, healthcare workers, police officers, teachers at school, so that if there is a young gay boy at school, or a young trans identifying person at school, they have no idea what is happening. Who else can they talk to? They go to their guidance and counseling teacher, or any other teacher really. So with the teachers, it's about creating that space for the students, because we can't work directly with people who are 18 and below 18. So in such cases, we usually refer them to SOS, to not SOS, Childline, to psychologists, and then if possible, they can, with a written letter, then we can work with them. But in most cases, it's really just empowering all these community leaders, so that if they are faced with a situation or they encounter an LGBTI person, they know how to react, how to respond. Yeah.
That's great. I think what's really interesting is the fact that it's not actually illegal to be gay in Botswana, but it's illegal to have gay sex or anal sex. What is interesting about the LGBT NGO is that it's only recently been allowed to exist. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, La Habiba was started in 1998, and this was with 10 lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans identifying persons, and by then they were housed under Ditwanelo, the Center for Human Rights. So it was that was 1998. In 2012, we had applied to the Registrar of Societies for La Habiba to be registered as an independent organization. The registrar of societies came back to us and said, no, we cannot register you because of this. If you can take out gay in La Habiba or take out lesbian in your constitution, maybe then we can talk about it. So because we're a membership organization, we went back to the community and said, guys, this is what the minister is saying. And they were very adamant. They were like, no, we are not taking everything out. We're not changing our constitution. We're not going to hide who we are. We're going to be very explicit in our constitution that strictly La Habiba caters for lesbian, gays, bisexual, transgender, and intersex. We're not going to scrape it all out. So we went back to the Register of Societies. Hey, this is what happened. We filed again. And then this time, I think they took like a year to get back to us. And they denied us a registration. And the reason for that was because homosexuality is not allowed in Botswana, which is totally ridiculous. So we, and in their letter, they're like, oh, you guys can go to court if you're not happy with our decision. And we're like, okay, cool. We accept the challenge. So we filed the case with the High Court in 2014. I stand corrected with my dates. And then both parties went to court. They had their heads of arguments. And then after that, okay, yes, which was pretty good. By then we were represented by Unity Dow, very beautiful and powerful and influential woman. So, and we had strategically chosen her because with our international partners, they were really willing to help. And, you know, we can pay for this, we can get you guys lawyers. And because this is a very sensitive issue, we didn't want it to be seemed like, okay, it's dominated by the outside. So we had accepted their support as well. But we were very adamant we will be represented by a local human rights lawyer, which happened to be Unity Dow. So I think, yeah, because of that, because there's also this notion that homosexuality is a Western idea. So by having someone from the outside represent us would feel that myth as well. So we won the High Court case, and then in 2014, and then so right as we were about to go for Christmas and have a nice time, the government then appealed the High Court's verdict, and then we went back to court for the appeal in 2015, and then 2000 and this year actually 2016, the verdict came out, and once again it ruled in favor of La Habiba. And the judge once again reiterated that, because in part of our argument was that everyone deserves the right to be protected under the constitution of Botswana. They have the right to freedom of expression, association, and assembly. So those were the fundamental rights that we were basing our arguments on. And the judge was like, yes, actually, that is true. There's nowhere in the Constitution where it says no, only this kind of group of people can be protected. It says everyone, and by everyone we mean everyone, regardless of your color, sexual orientation, gender. So that was really powerful for the High Court judge, and he granted us to to be registered, really,
And to exist legally.
and to exist legally. So now, then that was really powerful because the verdict, this is an LGBT issue, and it was in Africa. We know LGBTI issues, and in Africa and the African governments, it's very controversial. A lot of them are not in support of LGBTI. We have a lot of laws really that are anti-gay. Uganda, but South Africa has really made a big progress. And this case also, it kind of set a tone for the region as well. Okay. And it also showed where Botswana's public morality was leaning towards. Because part of the argument at the High Court was, so public morality, what does the public say about this? And the judge, we argued that really the decisions made in court or parliament shows where public morality lies. In 2010, the Employment Act was amended to include that you cannot be fired from your work because of your sexual orientation. Government has started to include the LGBTI, well, LGB, in their health policies. So when they do researches, they have included lesbian women, gay men, and bisexual persons in their research as well. This is for them to, develop programming that is specific for this targeted group. Although a lot of times it's not implemented because of the current law. Now, and that's the confusion that the public has because of Section 164 of the Penal Code, which says, so how that has been understood was if, can I be vulgar?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, if the penis does not go into the vagina, it's not considered, it's, if the penis goes into the vagina, that's the order of nature. So, in any acts that goes against the order of nature, is a criminal offense, and you can be imprisoned with a maximum of 7 years. And so, that law, there's a lot of misinterpretations of it. Really, some say, okay, no, it's for gay people only. Some say no, because of that, homosexuality is not allowed in Botswana, and that also fuels stigma within the society as well. So it's like laws like that kind of give people, I don't know if I should say legitimacy to stigmatize against the LGBTI community as well. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thank you for that. And it wasn't vulgar at all. It's just human, talking about human nature and stuff. But in conclusion, I'd like you to just say something about how you feel about your community within the larger community at this auspicious time of the 50th anniversary, and how you feel where you stand and the developments in a positive way. So, Bradley, in conclusion, I'd just like to ask you how you feel, or how you'd like to describe where you feel your community within the larger community has come after this 50th anniversary of Botswana's independence, and also on top of that, where you would like to see yourselves going in the future.
Well, if you look at the movement right now, comparing it to 10 years ago, 5 years ago, people weren't really free to talk about it. There was no platforms to talk about lesbian issues, to talk about homosexuality, talk about transgender issues. And it was more wrapped up because it was a taboo really to talk about it. You never couldn't hear someone mention that on radio or on TV, or literally just come out and say, I am gay. And that was also contributed to the culture, because I think a lot of times Botswana don't are not the confrontational what's the word group. We'd rather just hide things. We don't talk about that, and comparing that to what is happening now, and I think it's because it's more because the younger generation are more free, they're more expressive as well, and technology has taken over as well, which has also opened doors and platforms. I mean, right now, La Habiba can have a meeting with religious leaders talking about homosexuality. We can go to a clinic and go train healthcare workers, sensitize them, and I think right now it's better than what it was because we're talking about it. We're creating platforms. We're poking people, not in a bad way, no, not in a bad way. But we're also holding a government accountable. We're questioning like why there's this policy that is supposed to cater for lesbian women. Why is that not being implemented? And so, and I think that is what is happening now, and also the fact that the court case that has been won, so it also gives the LGBTI community more of validation. Really, talk to us, help us, include us. We don't want your acceptance, although to some extent, there's a lot of LGBT that want acceptance, and you want your family to accept you. You want your brother to accept you, and it gives you validation. Yeah.
I think, yeah, I think that everybody in society wants to be valued by the community. So I'm sure that's exactly what you want too, as a community.
Yes, yes. And we're not saying that, okay, create special laws for us, but really, we just want to be included. We just want to be accepted, really, and valued and loved.
I wanted to ask you another question, and that is there must be people in the community, in our society, who are in positions of power and influence, and maybe they're gay and they're unable to come out. How important do you think it is that these people get the courage to do so that they can push the barriers and the boundaries away and be role models?
We're not forcing people to come out. We always say you should come out when you're ready. And in most times, you get people that are in influential positions, public figures that are part of the LGBTI community, but don't want to come out. And I often say, if you are in a position to make a difference, to save a life, then you would have done your job here on earth. So coming out as an influential person, it's not as much as you're a public figure and you have your own personal space. Coming out really helps that young gay boy who follows you but does not know what is happening, and you speaking out for LGBTI rights. You might be gay, you don't necessarily have to come out as gay, but you can support the movement. You can speak on behalf of the community. You can speak for your followers who are gay. You can speak to your followers who are not gay, but call on them to accept, to be more open-minded, really. So in encouraging influential people to come out, I really do. And I think we need more role models that are LGBTI and that are, we need more role models who are LGBTI from Botswana. I mean, because all we see is international figures who are out there. And I think having someone that is a local, that is a public figure, you can relate to them more. They can relate to you more, because same cultural background, same society, really. So I really do. If you can make a difference, if you want to make a difference, if you want to speak for the people, I would encourage you to come out. And as much as you might be scared of the aftermath, but you coming out can change that as well, which will make it much more easier for others to come out who want to come out, really.
Okay, Bradley, I'd like to ask you about how you see the future in terms of specific goals for the LGBT community to achieve so that they become really an ordinary and normal part of the larger community.
Well, right now, what we're doing really is raising awareness, uh, educating Botswana, giving them knowledge, trying to create this inclusive environment for everyone. And then in the near future, we'll also look at gay marriages. Gay couples adopting as well, because the current situation, the government does not recognize gay marriages, and you can't adopt as a gay couple, and that is what we're looking for. So hopefully, maybe in the next 10, 15 years, that will be we will be at that stage. But for now, it's just raising awareness, educating, informing Botswana about the LGBTI community.
So that's future goals and future dreams. I think I'd like you to touch on this idea that when that happens, which we hope will be sooner than 10 years, and maybe because the South African example must be a huge example, that it uplifts, normalizes, and then uplifts the gay community and makes a much more tolerant and creative society.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason why we're really focusing now on raising awareness is so that when we do get there, everyone will be informed, and you're just not going to change the law, and then next thing, and we wouldn't have riots or LGBTI being killed or all those hate crimes happening. So we want them, like, when we do get to the point where we can get married, same-sex couples can be recognized, transgender persons as well, after having done their transitioning, can also be recognized by the government and the public as well, because I think by just changing laws just like that without informing the public, educating them, it kind of gives room for hate crimes as well, and we wouldn't want that. Well, currently, homosexuality is not illegal in Botswana. It's okay to be gay. It's okay to be lesbian. It's okay to be bisexual. However, though, transgender persons are still not recognized by the government. If I identify as a trans woman and I go get surgery and I come back, the government won't. If my name was Bradley and I come back as Betty, the government will not recognize Betty. So it's a struggle to get your documents changed and your sex changed as well legally on paper. And that is what we're also working for as well. Even in intersex persons, because a lot of times their gender is determined by the parents or the doctor. So when you grow up, you kind of feel, okay, no, I'm not in the right body, or you should have given me the choice to decide. And that is what we're also advocating for, and what we would love to see as well happen. Yes, but homosexuality is not illegal in Botswana. It's only the act of same-sex sexual relations, which is under the Penal Code, Section 164 of the Constitution of Botswana. Well, how would I like the law to be changed? I'd like for starters, we need to get rid of Section 164 of that Constitution. By getting rid of that, it won't give people ground to mistreat, stigmatize, discriminate the LGBTI community, and bring in more protective laws as well, specifically for the LGBTI community to avoid hate crimes.